Masters Week. Pew, 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 pew. Woo, 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 woo. Tour Junkies here. DB with you. Pat Perry. It's our favorite week of the year. It's the best week of the year, and it's right here in our own backyard in Augusta, Georgia. For the 2021 Masters, we are pumped. Hope you are too. This is the DraftKings breakdown, DraftKings preview. The betting show is separate. If you want to hear all the bets and you want to hear that broken down, hit the betting show. Check that out. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. We are pumped about it, and we're presented by our friends at fantasynational.com. It is the go-to, the nonstop, the one-stop shop place for all your betting, golf stats, golf, whatever you need. If it's DraftKings and you need ownership projections, you need lineup builders, optimizers, you need any stat on golf that you can think of, it's at Fantasy National. We've been using them for about 4 years now, and they're trusted partners of the Tour Junkies, and they are a certified partner of the PGA Tour and ShotLink data. It's all good, clean data, okay? That's what you need. And if you want to get 20% off any level membership at Fantasy National, head to fantasynational.com/TJ, and you automatically get 20% off. Let them know the Tour Junkies sent you. You can sign up weekly, try it out. If you like it, you can bump it up to a month or an annual membership, and you still get to keep the 20% off. It's a great thing. fantasynational.com/TJ. It's our only source. And all the stats that we reference tonight will be courtesy of fantasynational.com. Pat, how you doing, buddy? I know you just got back from Universal Studios with the fam. And
yeah.
You're looking good, buddy. I'm excited about the show. It's Masters Week. It feels a little weird because we're not, gearing up for a big week here in Augusta, but it's still Masters Week.
Well, from what I hear from people, from boots on the ground, not on the course, but around the city, that it is hustling and bustling. It's back. It's getting close to 2019. Back to normal a little bit around there. People everywhere, restaurants filled up, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely having a little bit of FOMO, some fear of missing out. Not around this week for the Masters because we can't get on the grounds. And you know what? I want to be out there if I'm going to go to the tournament. But I think it's going to be a great year, a great tournament. And, so very excited.
We will.
I'm not refreshed, by the way. I'm not refreshed after a vacation.
Oh, God, no.
You do not go to Universal Studios or Disney or anything like that and feel refreshed afterwards. You feel awful. You want to drink more. Like this whole week, I'm going to drink.
I will say we already have a YouTube comment from Spazbite that says Pat's skin is on fire right now. I guess he's digging your tan, buddy. We're going to get into it because I did get a chance to get on the grounds of Augusta National just yesterday. In fact, I ran into one Patrick Perry Sr. on the grounds. I got to see your dad at Augusta National.
Oh, wow. You didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
He didn't mention it either. So he must not have made a big impression on him when you were out there.
He still may not know it was me because I had my mask on. I could tell he at first, I don't think he really knew, but then I felt like he figured it out eventually. I think he knows my voice. I mean, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he still did not remember. But yeah, I was leaving the beer concession, and he was going in. By the way, podcast juice tonight is some Wild Leap vodka, and look at this new cup they're selling this year at the National. So if you buy it's a new Crow's Nest wheat ale that is a special Augusta National brew. So I had a few of those and got me a little green cup snake. It was fantastic at the Augusta National Women's Am. What's your podcast juice? Now you're drinking a little beer, I see.
Yeah, a little Wild Leap also. This is the Alpha Extraction. It's a double IPA. I've drank it several times on the show, but it's got 8% alcohol / volume, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Fantastic. Shout out to a couple of winners in the Nut Hut Listener League. If you're not a member of the Nut Hut, don't know what you're doing, but we have our Listener League where every week, if you win, you get a spot in the finals this summer. And whoever wins the finals is going to get a chance to come play golf with me and you either in Augusta, Georgia or in Savannah. And, expenses paid. Come down, play golf with us. It's a great thing. And you got to be a member of the Nut Hut to do it. So head over to tourjunkies.com. Check out Golby's Nut Hut. It's the Discord member chat. $10 a month, $90 a year. Super easy to do. We've got a weekly caddy inside info from there. We got Rat House, John Rat House, Caddy John in there mixing it up. There's a lot of people winning a lot of money in there, and it's a lot of fun. Lasting friendships and relationships made. I feel like at some point, Pat, somebody is going to be a groomsman in somebody's wedding because of a relationship that started on the Nut Hut, in the Nut Hut. I think that's going to happen at some point. But we had a first this week in the Listener League, and that is we had a tie at Pirate 82 and at Ethan Sawyer 14, both tied for the Valero Texas Open week. You're both going to get a spot in the final. So there you go. Congrats to you. And Jordan Spieth won the Valero. How about it? Who knew? Another. We'll get to that, I'm sure, in a second. Another winner. We talked about giving away our golf clubs, Pat. We did this a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, I guess, for iTunes reviews, and I want to show the folks the iTunes review that I've selected to win.
I got something to say here.
Well, I did select it because originally it was my idea to give away my clubs, so it was my thing. I was giving away my clubs. And then, of course, Pat didn't do anything this week. He was a universal. So, when it came down to select the winning review, I selected the one that I thought was best. And Producer Sam, I think you should bring that up now. But I will say, this person has not turned himself in yet. I put it on Twitter, and I don't know. But it's Morris81107 left this iTunes review on February 2nd. Faces made for a podcast. Now, I think we both agree with that. Two of the most entertaining guys in the thrilling sport of DFS golf. They both have a great sense of humor. David is your cool uncle you would go see a ball game with, while Pat is your drunk uncle if you that you don't want to be left alone with. I look forward to every Tuesday night for the new pod drop to get their expertise. Well, David's, I'll be a listener for life. I think this is a brilliant review by Morris81107, and he needs to notify us quickly so that we can ship you some brand new, well, not brand new, but new to you golf clubs.
Yeah, good job, Morris. You won't be getting my driver, which was going to be part of the deal, but now you know what? I may have to back out of that after that review.
You can't.
I don't know. Maybe you have to redeem yourself if you show yourself. I don't know. We haven't seen it yet, so we'll see.
We are. This is going to be a jam-packed show. We are going to be giving away some Masters merch, T-shirts, flags. We're going to be giving that away throughout this show and on the betting show. There's a bunch of different ways to win. So be on the lookout. If you're watching live on YouTube right now, we appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well. Oh man, Pat, so much to go over. Oh, I know what happened too last week. We made a bet. We made a prop bet.
Oh yes, we did. Yes,
we made a prop bet. I'm a little nervous about this, honestly. I'll be honest. I wish I was a few more wild leaps deep for this. We made a prop bet, and I've won like 3 or 4 in a row, and I lost last week. I had Ricky Fowler. You had Cam Davis. Whoever's player finished the best, you were going to be penalized because these were guys that we were avoiding. And so I lost that prop bet as Ricky Fowler actually had a great week. His first great week in a long time. Him and Jordan Spieth both resurrected. And Cam Davis didn't do that great. So we went back and forth over what the penalty was going to be.
Yeah, it was a struggle. I mean, I even cussed at DB at one point because I was in the middle of a long line in Universal, and he was just badgering and pestering me about this bet and saying I don't live up to bets, which we all know is not true.
Well, let me just tell you this: what's about to happen right now. At some point, when you lose a bet, this is happening to you. I want you to know that.
All right.
So I'm going to man up here, and I'm going to invite Miss Domination, my wife, over here, and she is going to slap me in the face to get this bet started. She just found out as it came out of my mouth. So I'm going to get slapped by Miss Domination, the old wife slap. So come on. Yeah, you are. You have to. You don't have to.
Yeah, you have to.
You don't have to do it super hard. Okay, I gotta get.
You can do it as hard as you want to do it.
Yeah, they're watching live. You have to. Come on.
This is terrible.
Come on, right here in the camera. Look in the camera. Come on.
No, I don't want to do this.
Take your ring off, please.
What?
Take that ring off.
Babe,
come on, you can't delay it. The show's waiting.
This is the master show.
Come on.
Gotta go.
Come on. Pat's saying you gotta go. Here, wave to the camera. Bend down, wave to the camera.
Bend down?
Yeah, come on,
wow.
show them your face.
Hi. I don't want to do this.
Here we go. Come on.
I've never slapped anyone.
Come on.
Say don't ever lose a bet again and slap him.
Go.
Because if I
Come
do it
on!
too hard,
Come on!
I'm going to never hear the end of it. If I do it too soft, it's not going to be good
Come
enough.
on, you gotta go. You gotta go. We got guests.
Medium level.
Oh yes! Woo! There we go. It's Masters Week, baby. Thanks, Boo.
Oh my god!
It's Masters Week.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, see that? No, wait a minute. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a little red there.
Oh yeah. But see how she just kind of like, I don't know if I can. I don't know. And then she just did it. It just like,
Yeah.
All right.
I get you while you were talking.
I feel good. I think I'm ready to go. So there you go. I pay my bets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thanks a lot, Ricky Fowler, you punk. Somebody said call Lucas Glover's wife.
Oh god. Yeah, she'd be probably good at that. Okay, well, good stuff. I thought I was going to be getting slapped in the face early in the week, but that did not happen. And Ricky came through for me. Cam Davis, he was a good fade.
With all the Jordan Spieth talk, and then there's Ricky, like nobody's paying attention, but dang, he had himself a week. Good to see, but he's not in the Masters for the first time in forever. All right, let's get to this. We're going to have hopefully a pretty special guest here coming on soon. I want to get to the golf course. Let's talk about Augusta National Golf Club. We're going to talk about, everybody knows the course. So we're not going to go super deep into it, but key stats and some of the theory, the game theory that it takes to maybe win some big bucks on DraftKings this week. So, Pat, I'll let you start. I know you probably want to talk about some game theory.
Game theory. We're going to get into some game theory. Okay. All right, so Augusta National Golf Club this week. We all know the course, okay? I'm not going to get into too many details, but it is playing as a par 72, just under 7,500 yards. Now, that does change a good bit because they've got multiple tee boxes and locations that they tend to like to use and change them around quite often. You got 88 players in the field this week. It feels more like 70 to 75, though. When you think about the old guys, the return, the past champs, the amateurs, whatever else. So you kind of have to look at that. Don't just think about the 88 players. There are definitely some guys that you can totally throw out that just don't have a chance to compete here. But the top low 50 scores and ties will make the cut this week. So you got to remember that. And I think a majority of people are going to get six of six lineups. And not a majority, but a good amount are going to get 6 of 6. So that's not going to be the biggest key this week, okay?
And remember, yes, no 10-shot rule anymore.
No 10-shot rule anymore. So a lot of folks are going to have, it's going to be a high percentage getting 6 of 6 through. So you're going to have to do more than just that, okay? Now, you might not necessarily have to have the winner, but you've got to have a lot of guys up there in the top 10. So that's important to look at. As far as the course is concerned, we know this is a second shot golf course. I mean, it is all about approach. You can hit it. You can spray it off the tee. Being long is certainly positive out here. We know that for sure. I do think it's going to play pretty firm and fast out here. But the greens and hitting these greens is very important. There's a ton of undulation around these greens. You have got to know them well. And that's where I think experience comes into play, okay? I mean, look, we talk about first-timers not winning here, and there's a reason, okay? It is a hard course to learn. There's a lot of things, just little nuances around these greens, whether it comes with scrambling, and when you miss them, you've got to be creative. And then when you're putting on these greens, you got to be below the hole, and you got to know where to do that. So if you're hitting approach shots, you got to know where you got to be into these greens and into these multiple pin locations that are quite diabolical most of the time with these. Now, I do think a right to left ball flight certainly is positive out here when you look at most of the holes on this course, and especially the par fives where you can score out here on every single one. So again, we all know the course. I think that if you're in the Nut Hut later on this week, you may, maybe if we hear some certain things as far as how it's playing this year, it's going to play so much different than November. I would not even think about November. It's just a totally different golf course now than it is in November. So don't even worry about that. But you can hear different course breakdowns and whatever else, but I can guarantee you there are not two guys in this business who have walked this golf course more than DB and I. I mean, we have walked the shit out of this golf course, okay, all over the damn place, all right? So you don't need to go anywhere else if you want any course information because it is right here. As far as the stats I'm looking at, course history, we know it always shows up well, more so than any at Augusta National. definitely looking at form, but I do think there's some interesting facts about form that we'll get into a little bit. Our boy Ben wrote a great article on the site that you need to check out when it comes to form, especially leading up into this event. But I definitely looking at strokes gained approach, your ball strikers, good scramblers, a little bit of putting on bent. I just want to see which guys, traditionally putt well on bent. It's not a common surface on tour. I mean, it's not like one of the most common. So it's something that I want to look at. Looking at our past champs, we got DJ last year in the fall of 2020, Tiger in 2019, Patrick Reed in 2018, Sergio Garcia in 2017, Danny Willett, 2016. DB had him at, I don't know, what was the number, 51?
150. Me and Feinberg.
Okay, I took a one away from you there. And then Jordan Spieth, your most recent winner on tour in 2015. A couple notes. Everybody's been talking about John Rahm and his little baby. Well, that baby was born today. So it's looking like John Rahm is going to be good to go to arrive at Augusta National and play this week. I think the weather is something we're going to want to look at later in the week. We are expected to get some rain. Really not early in the week, but then it's looking like on Thursday and Friday, definitely going to get some rain with some winds picking up on Friday. So we'll want to check that out in the Nut Hut. So, DB, that's the course breakdown.
Love it, Pat. Just some things to add in terms of like strategy and stuff. I definitely think you're exactly right on the November play. I was on Pat Mayo's show with him and Ben Raza talking about this, and I think there's probably an edge to be had by not weighing in November results or not letting it truly dictate, or force a decision on somebody. Because I think if somebody weighs that too heavily, that's probably not a good thing. I also think Augusta National saw DJ run it up at 20 under and said that shit ain't gonna happen in April.
Yeah.
I think this golf course is gonna be playing much harder, much more difficult, much faster, firmer. We've already heard people talk about it. So I was out there yesterday walking around. I walked holes 8 through 18, and the fairways were okay. Like, they weren't super firm and fast to me. Obviously, ladies are hitting them like 240, 250 out is kind of where the average balls were landing in terms of carry, maybe 230, 240. There's a little roll to them, but nothing crazy. But this is the thing you have to remember. Augusta National is one of the few golf courses probably in the world. I don't know. They may be one of two, actually, that have sub-air, not just under the greens. There are plenty of golf courses that have sub-air systems under their greens to suck the moisture out of the greens and be able to control how fast or how slow or how receptive they're rolling. But Augusta has it under all the fairways, and we did confirm this with a couple of friends of ours that are groundskeepers there currently. All of them are working and up and running. So really and truly, it could look one thing today, but if they decide to suck all the moisture out of there on Tuesday night or Monday or Thursday or whatever, like, they can, and they can speed it up. And I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think they want to see 20 under win this tournament. I don't think they want to see anything better than 10 under, 9 under win this golf tournament. So it's going to be tougher, and it's going to look a lot different than what it played in November. Obviously, the grass is performing a little different this year as well. So something to think about. Obviously, Pat talked about the high 6 of 6 percentage, and that is 100% true with Ben's article. So actually right now, as of recording this, we got 2 things up on tourjunkies.com right now. They're free. There's 25 key stats, not 10. We've been doing 25. Ben's been doing 25 for the majors. 25 key stats that you need to look at, you need to study before you really get, nailing down your player pool. But then he also wrote this other article about the incoming form that you talked about. But I took something away there that he said I really liked. Right now, the sports books are only giving about 40 players in the field a 0.5% chance or higher of winning this golf tournament. Only 40 at a 0.5% or higher chance at winning this golf tournament. So really, that 88-man field gets shrunk down considerably when you think about who in here actually has a somewhat decent chance of winning the golf tournament. So yes, you're going to have high 6 of 6 percentages. There's going to be 6 of 6 lineups that don't make any money. It's not going to happen. Another thing that he did was he looked at some of the ownership and the chalk since 2017, kind of the last 4 Masters. And other than 2020, if you faded the top 3 to 5 highest owned players in the field, if you faded those guys, other than last year in the top 20, or in 2020, you probably did just fine. You didn't miss out on the winner. It didn't cost you a GPP, in other words. So DJ was the exception there in 2020, pretty chalk, and obviously he ran away with it. If you didn't have DJ, you were probably screwed. So what we've seen in 2019, 2018, 2017 with Tiger, with Reed, with Sergio is you can fade some of the highest owned players at Augusta. There is some volatility here, that's for sure. He also goes into like incoming form and that kind of stuff, which is really, really helpful to look at. Also, half the teams in the Millie Maker, if you're playing the Millie Maker, used 100% of their salary. So with such a limited field and such a limited number of players that can actually contend, just think about the number of duplicated lineups you're going to run into with using 100% of your salary cap. So it's a good idea to leave some money on the table. I think that's for sure. We talk about that every year. And another thing to think through is just total ownership. So he also did kind of an ownership study in terms of total number, for those winning Millie Maker lineups. And if you could keep it somewhere in that 75 to 100% total, when you add up the projected ownerships of all 6 of your players, I think you're in better shape there. When you start creeping over that 100% number, you're starting to get, maybe a little chalky, not having enough leverage there on the field. You got to be right on. So I think that's 75 to 100%. Those are some good takeaways from that article, but you need to head over to tourjunkies.com. Read it for yourself. It's a really good couple articles there. All the content on tourjunkies.com is free for you to read. Obviously, we'll have the betting cards out. I'll have the Monkey Knife Fight prop of the week, which now we're on a runner. 2 weeks in a row, we've hit the Monkey Knife Fight prop.
Woo!
We have AC's DraftKings preview. We'll have the pivot point coming back, a couple popular names and a couple names you should pivot to on Tuesday night, maybe Wednesday morning. Everything's going to come out a little early this week, hopefully a day or two early. So yeah, it's going to be good stuff. I need to tell anybody who's out there that maybe needs some high quality video production. Maybe you have a business of your own, a major project that you're a part of or something like that. And our friends at Tranter Gray have filmed a bunch of content for us. And lately we even use them on something real special that we're working on. You guys are going to find out about. These guys know what they're doing. They do it all over the world. They will come to you. They travel all over the place shooting video for a ton of different companies. They work with medical practices, nonprofits, Fortune 500 companies, all that stuff, making promotional videos to help represent your brand. We've personally seen their work with a big athletic apparel company, No Bull. And they also did a recap video for Mr. Bill Murray at the World Golf Hall of Fame for his massive Caddyshack event. If your company does any type of video production, I guarantee you these guys deliver an exceptional product for you. Check out their site at trantergrey.com. That's TRANTERGREY.com and see how they can help you out. Good folks over there. They'll go anywhere. They'll come to you. They're very professional. Good stuff. We appreciate Tranter Gray. Thanks for helping us out. So yeah, Pat, I mean, anything else really to think through before we kind of start diving into the field here? I want to have plenty of time to really work into the DraftKings field. Any other thoughts?
No, I think that's it. I think you hit all the good points there, and I think we this course, everybody's seen it. That's one of the best things about the Masters every year is it's the same course. So I think it's going to play a lot more difficult, like you said, this year than we saw in the fall. And so let's go.
My face is feeling a little. It's looking like it's kind of reddening up a little bit.
Yeah, it's
looking good.
Improving. It's improving.
Hey, let's give away some Master swag real quick. Do you have that stuff with you?
Yeah.
So we went to the 2020 Masters Pro Shop and just racked up some stuff because we figure why wouldn't you want something from 2020 Masters, which is really just such a weird year. So we've got some pin flags. Oh, there we go. Pat's holding it up. There you go. And we've got some T-shirts. Let's give those away. Here's all you got to do. Let's see. Let's do this first one. Comment. Look at that beautiful shirt. The shirt says 2020.
Look, it's all in the plastic still.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's nice. Here's how you win it. Go to YouTube and comment with the biggest name that you think is going to miss the cut. Give me a big name in the YouTube comments that's going to miss the cut. All right. If you're watching live, don't type it in there live because it won't count. You got to go after the show, type in the comment. Comments help the algorithm. Algorithm helps promote the show. We need more people watching on YouTube. Hook it up. So comment the biggest name to miss the cut. I tell you what, the first 3 comments that get it right, we will send a 2020 flag to. First 3. We got 3 flags, right, Pat?
We got at least 3.
All right. Another way you can win it is just subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're already subscribed, congratulations, you're in. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will pick a random subscriber, and we'll mail you a T-shirt and a flag. How about that? We got 4 flags,
Okay,
Pat.
Now I might need to go check. I think let's say 4.
Okay, we have 4 flags.
Let me go check just to be sure.
All right, yeah. So that's how you got to do it. So subscribe to the channel or comment the biggest name that you think is going to miss the cut, and you got a chance to win it. It's that easy, very simple. It doesn't cost you much to do. All right, let's get into the picks while Pat's doing whatever he's doing.
All right, five total flags. So we've already committed 4. So
right,
we only have one more.
Another one. We're gonna give away another one on the betting show. A different way on the betting show. All right, remember, if you're watching live on YouTube, the comment doesn't count until after the show's over. Then you go in and comment. There you go. All right, Pat, let's talk about the top range on DraftKings. So much to get into here. Let's see here. We got DJ at 11.5, John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Rory, Xander, Cantlay, Colin, Spieth, Reed, Koepka, Finau, and Webb Simpson, rounding out the 9K and above range. You know, here's something to remember. Yes, you want ownership leverage in your lineups, but that doesn't mean all 6 guys have to be, super sneaky, right? Like, you got to remember that. You definitely need a couple, 2 or 3 guys at minimum that are going to give you some real leverage if they pop off. So you can eat some chalk, and we're going to eat some chalk, I'm sure, right? But I also think, Pat, that a lot of the ownership is going to spread itself around because it's such a strong field. It's such a small field. I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of players super chalky. Obviously, I think Jordan Spieth is going to be really, really chalky, coming off the win at Valero and coming into the Masters with the momentum he already had. I think there's going to be 2 players that might, and I think Spieth's one of them, that may crack that 25% to 30% range, maybe more in certain contests. But other than that, I don't know. I just think you're going to see things spread out a little bit. What do you think overall about how you're going to evaluate ownership, or maybe how you're going to attack, building lineups here? Are you going to, how much exposure you're going to have to this top tier, which I think, you got to have some because there's a lot of win equity up here.
Yeah, I'll have a good amount of exposure, obviously, but I do agree. I mean, I think that the ownership is going to be spread out a little bit up here, and I don't want to be too just focused on ownership itself this week, okay? Because you have that shorter field, okay? So a lot of guys are going to get 6 of 6. I do agree that, look, you can't just sit there and fade chalk just to fade it this week. You can find some other places in your lineup, especially in tournament lineups, where you can play guys that are going to be lesser owned, maybe have 2 guys in your lineup, maybe 3, but you can still play some chalky guys, and I still think doing that, you're going to win some GPPs this week. So, or at least you're going to finish high and win money. So I'm not just going to be all about ownership this week. I do think, there's a lot of guys in here that I'm going to eat the chalk on. So we'll see, but it's, looking at these top guys, there's just, it's hard. You got to plant some flags. And I do think you got to do that. This is one of those weeks where you have to plant flags and you got to just say, okay, I'm going to eat the chalk and I'm done there. And then I'm going to move on to the next. But you can't you can't play everybody in this 9K range. You really have got to make some decisions up here, especially in your GPPs, and just go with it. Have a little bit smaller pool than you usually might go with as far as your player pool is concerned, and then just go with it from there.
Did you forget where you were for a second there? I felt like you are you good?
Yeah, I was wondering how much beer I had left, and then I realized, I still got a few sips before I need to pour some. So, yeah. And then I got back on track after I lost track for a second there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am looking at ownership. I think that's important, but you do have to just kind of say to yourself, hey, you know what, David? Look in the mirror. Look at the mirror and say, you know what, David? You can't play them all, buddy. You just can't. It sucks. There's so many good guys in here. You might like a ton of guys in here, but you can't play them all. Don't spread out the player pool so wide that you end up either just you get a wash or you win just a little bit or you lose just a little bit. We're either in this to go big or go home. So you do have to plant some flags, like Pat said. Let's talk about this. What are we going to do? I like, let's break it down 10K and up first. So you have Xander, Rory, JT, Bryson, Rahm, and DJ. Storylines here. Obviously, you mentioned John Rahm just had the baby, him and his wife, Kelly. So that definitely changes a lot of things. I mean, when I did the Pat Mayo show, we didn't know that yet. So we were talking about how that was going to work. Baby swag can definitely be a thing. And I think it's going to work.
I did the Pat Mayo show. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, go ahead.
I think it's going to work in Rahm's favor. I think it's going to be a good thing for Rahm. Coming right off of it, he's playing well. I think the baby is a good thing. I think having it out of the way, letting him zero in and focus on the Masters, focus on getting the job done and not worrying about, is Kelly going into labor? Is she okay? Am I going to be able to make it if it happens? Am I going to miss the birth? All these things, right? I think it's going to really clear him up. And, fatherhood will change a man, right? And it may offer some fresh perspective for old Rombo and just calm him down a little bit, get him in his zen place. And, that could be good for him at Augusta. So I think Rahm is for sure live. I think JT is probably a lock for me at this point. I really love where he's at. His game, obviously coming off winning the Players. His game is as good as anybody's here for Augusta. And then from there, I think I'm probably for now going to stop. I could be talked into Bryson at 10-8. I think Bryson arrives here in a little different form and a little different headspace. He's not causing waves, talking about, carrying trees on 13, a bet you lost, by the way, or, what he's going to hit into this or all this kind of stuff. I think he got humbled a little bit in November when he lost to Bernhard Langer, and here we are. So I kind of like the perspective for Bryson. What do you think about DJ? What do you think about the state of DJ's game right now? Defending champ at 11-5. What are you going to do about him specifically? And then I'll let you kind of tell me what you're going to do with the rest of this range.
Well, I don't have DJ as one of my, favorite GPP plays this week. I can't go against you if you want to play him. I really don't mind it. I do think that you might get a little bit of better ownership leverage than you would if he were coming in great form and whatever else. But let's not forget, it's still DJ. I know he didn't play good at the Players Championship, and he's not coming in the greatest form. But look, the guy has just played incredible here outside of the win just last year on a different course. He was still second in 2019, T10 in 2018, T4 in 2016. 2017 was the famous fall down the stairs year, so he didn't play and whatever else. But yeah, he's not one of my favorite.
Yes. I just remembered. So I'm leaving to go to Destin tomorrow, Destin, Florida. And the last time I was at Destin was the year DJ fell down the stairs. We were getting ready to, or we had already done our show. And then I found out that DJ was, in fact, I'm staying in the same villa. That just trips me out.
Does that mean Sergio's going to win, since that was the year that Sergio won?
Dang. Somebody call DJ and make sure he doesn't have a house with stairs, too.
Yeah, everybody needs to
check on DJ. He have a house with stairs.
Yeah, but let me just say, you mentioned Bryson, okay? I like Bryson a ton this week. He is one of my favorite plays above 10K. What have we heard anything about Bryson like we did leading up to Bryson in the fall?
No.
We're not hearing all this stuff because I guess they got all of that out of the way in the fall. And now he's just coming in great form, almost won the Players Championship, and he's figured it out. Like the way he played it in the fall, there were some things that worked. We saw that, and it worked kind of into the weekend. And I think that's gonna benefit him this year when the course is playing much firmer, much faster. He's in good form. I like Bryson at 10-8. I think he's a good play. I know he doesn't have the greatest course history here, but I am going to be a huge Bryson fan this week. And I hope his ownership's lower. I don't think it will be, but
yeah. Well, Pat, we're going to finish breaking down the range and, of course, all the DraftKings plays. But before we do, our very special guest has arrived. I am really excited to welcome a fresh guest picker, fresh face on the Tour Junkies podcast. Producer Sam, you can bring him up if you want. It is Mr. Chris Vernon, the host of the Chris Vernon Show and the Ringer NBA Show. What's up, dude?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on.
Brother, we are really grateful for you to take the time and hop on the show. We are big fans of you, big fans of your show. Pat, show him your shirt, not your tits, but show him your shirt.
Oh, let's go. Let's
Hey,
go.
Hey, in at the corner.
Chris, how are you feeling that Charlie Hoffman got cucked today from making it to the Masters?
That was tough. He had a chance to eagle that on 18 too. It wasn't. I mean, he had made the chip earlier. So I was thinking he had a chance. I mean, once Jordan was able to kind of get out of trouble and make it so he only had the 2-putt.
Yeah,
that's kind of when you came to terms with it's probably not going to happen for Hoffman here. But he took a run at it. You know what I mean? He really did. I mean, when you come into the last round, that's a lot of pressure when you got to win to get in. And he took a real run at it. If it wouldn't have been for Jordan playing so great, he's probably there, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Chris, have you ever been to Augusta for the Masters, man?
I have not. I haven't been. No, I'd love to. I actually had within these last few years, I've met a couple guys that like work for companies that get tickets for. I wouldn't want to go like as media. I wouldn't want to do that. I would want to go as a fan. And I've entered the lottery like 4 or 5 times. I've never gotten it, but I've met guys that like, they work for like insurance companies or some crap. And so they have some kind of deals with some kind of big companies that are giving tickets. And so every once in a while they get them. So I've had a couple guys say, hey, at one point we're going to get you out there, but I have never been. I'd love to. So it's certainly one of those like bucket list things, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Listen, if you get here, you got a couple of Augusta boys right here that would love to host you. I know Pat would probably. I know he'd probably love to guide you around, right, Pat?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll take you around.
Pat does a Chris Vernon impression every week on the podcast. Chris, he's a big fan. I get voice texts on my phone weekly. As Charlie Hoffman moves up any leaderboard for any golf tournament, I get Pat screaming in my phone because we're such big fans of yours.
That's crazy too. The Charlie Hoffman thing is nuts to me. Like that one. That I tell you this, like throughout the golf season, I get that one and Tony Finau the most. Of any of the two guys, those are the ones that I get all the time. Like there is never a weekend where I don't get a where the hell is Charlie Hoffman or I'll just be like minding my business on a Sunday. And I'll see, especially when Finau was making runs at all of those tournaments back to back to back. I mean, it was a constant flow of Tony Finau where he be now. I mean, it was crazy. But the Charlie Hoffman thing is so funny because, like, I haven't really talked about this. So here's the reason that happened is because we've been doing those Masters updates. It started as a radio bit. We've probably been doing them like, 10 years, probably, right? And we did them about, 5 or 6 years ago, something like that, maybe 6 years ago. And I'm doing it on the radio, and he is in first place in the first round, like he always is, right?
Yeah.
But I think this was like the first time that he was in first place in the first round, which became like commonplace over the course. Like you looked at that leaderboard, and he was always like in the top 5 in the first round every year. So, but whatever that first year was that he did it, so probably like, 6 years ago, I'm doing the thing, and it's one of the only times that I've cracked doing it because you could probably find it somewhere. I don't know where the audio would be, but I remember at the end, I was yelling and screaming. We were doing the leaderboard, and I'm yelling, Charlie Hoffman's 5 under. Charlie Hoffman's 5 under. Charlie Hoffman's 5 under. And then, like, the music's still playing, whatever. And I could see, like, my producers laughing his ass off. And I'm looking at him, and I could tell he's thinking what I'm thinking. And I yelled, who the hell is Charlie Hoffman? Right? Because we had no idea who we didn't even know if it was like, it could have been a fake Masters leaderboard for all we knew. And so then it became a thing every year because we do it first round, second round. So every year it became a thing that like Charlie Hoffman was always one of those guys because I'm pretty well just going through the tops on the leaderboard, but he was always there. And so once the Charlie Hoffman thing happened that first year, and it was who the hell is Charlie Hoffman, then from then on, we started doing it. And then last year, that was, I think the first time that I've done it, and he wasn't there. And so that's why I yelled that. Where the hell is Charlie Hoffman? Because every year we do that, and he's always oddly one of the names, right? It's always like we're always kind of focusing on stars, but oddly, he's always one of the names. So that's why I started yelling, where the hell is Charlie Hoffman? Because he wasn't on the lead. It wasn't because he wasn't at the Masters. It's because I didn't even know. I'm not kidding. I had no idea Charlie Hoffman was not in the Masters last year. I'm saying when it started. But the reason I yelled that is because I was looking at the leaderboard and he wasn't on the leaderboard. So that's what that was in reference to. But golf fans, they went nuts over that thing. It was hilarious.
Well, I think too is that we've talked about that for years, and we're talking fantasy golf and betting and first round leaders and all that kind of stuff. So we always know that Charlie Hoffman is near the top of the leaderboard in the first round of the Masters. So when you that made the whole video. When you immediately go, where the hell is Charlie Hoffman? I mean, we're thinking, what everybody's thinking, where is he?
Yeah, where is he?
We'd be missing Charlie Hoffman, and then you got the daggum mascots in the background going.
Yeah.
like that, like even that in itself is just crazy. I mean, the whole video is just absolutely fantastic. And I caught on to it early, was a huge fan of it. Now, I got to ask, one of the mascots falls down at the very end. I think there's a little bit of subtle thing is that mascot falling down. Like, why did he fall down? Like, was that part of it, or he just fell down? He was tired. Well, I mean, what happened there at the end?
I think he crashed. I think he crashed. I don't think he tripped, but I think he did I think he crashed. Like, it was just enough was enough. And I think he fell out, but then he got back up and he kept on going. Look, I mean, I don't mind saying this. So the guy, the video that's been circulated the most, the one that people have seen on Twitter, it has it's a dog and it's a bumblebee. Now, that bumblebee, that's a mascot. Like he works with us, but he is Rocky the Redbird at the Memphis Redbirds AAA baseball team.
Oh, so that's his real job. Like that's his,
no, that's his side hustle.
Oh,
but
damn.
That's why. So he is a professional. Like, people don't understand. They think they can just put any schmo in a costume. I got real professionals in these are trained professionals in these. Now the other guy, he ain't a trained professional. That's probably why he crapped out. You know what I mean? Like
Look, that's like in Augusta. We have the Hooters restaurant on Washington Road in Augusta, and what happens is 51 weeks out of the year, we get them B-list, C-list Hooters girls. When Masters Week rolls around, they bring in the professionals.
That's right.
They're wearing the same costume, but it's a professional under there. You know what I mean?
What do they do with the regular Hooters girls?
God knows. I mean, I don't know. They send a Waffle House or something.
They just say you get the week off.
Yeah, you get the week off. Hey, are you going to be doing the Masters updates this year?
Yeah, we're doing. We always do them on Thursday, Friday. I got a lot of. I don't want to say a lot. I mean, minor heat about not doing them on the weekends, but nobody wants to hear that. The truth is, it's like we've got, I don't know, five maybe robotic cameras that work in there. I mean, we have what's basically like a TV producer, right? That has to work the cameras and stuff. And then I've got at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 other people that are kind of involved in it, with there's the music and it's the cameras and it's the mascots or whatever. And it's like, bro, I can't ask all these people to come in on the only 2 days that they have off so that we can do a 6-minute Masters thing, and then somebody's got to produce the whole damn thing, and it's like, but we're already there doing the show, right? It's just a regular work day, Thursday and Friday, when we normally do the show anyway. So
well, yeah, I mean, and damn, Rocky the Redbirds got a doubleheader on Saturday.
he did.
Yeah.
Their season doesn't start for. They don't start. I guess AAA. This is odd. They don't start for like a month after the major leagues. I don't know what all those baseball players are doing. Right? They were all at spring training, and then I guess they just all have a month off. So yeah, but he's look. This is his spring training. It's his spring training. This guy, he has to get ready. He can't be half stepping when it comes to Redbird season. Yeah, but now look, like I have, even if I considered not doing it, like I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to. And then with freaking Koepka tweeting.
Oh, I saw that. He tweeted about it today. So now you got even more pressure. So that leads into my question. So what kind of pressure are you feeling? For the update going into, and now we're going to get some picks from you too. So do you have some guys like in mind, besides some picks that we'll get into that you're kind of hoping do well, just because you got a little material for them, leading up into the updates this year?
I have a real soft spot for Finau.
Mm-hmm.
He has performed so well there. He, like everybody else, cratered at the end of the Tiger win a couple years ago. But he has played very, very well there. He's played really well. And he's been great this year. I just, everybody's the guy that can't get it done until they get it done, And if you are awesome, you eventually get it done. I like the idea that some of those guys, if in the absence of somebody being totally dominant, right? And I suppose if Dustin Johnson backed it up, then all of a sudden we start talking about him in a different way than we've talked about him before. And certainly it validates, like, people can't say, oh, it was the fall and there weren't fans there and all this crap, right? So in the absence of dominance, I do like stories, right? Like, that's what I like the most. And so I think the best stories would either be a guy breaking through that is constantly like second. So in that realm, it would be Finau, it would be Xander, right? Those guys are constantly on the doorstep, but they haven't really broken through. And the other one would be the great stories, which Brooks falls into it now because he'll be going on, right? He's got the injury and he's going to play it. So that would make for an unbelievable story. And then the other two stories would be Rory. He needs this. He doesn't have this of the majors. It's hanging out there, and he has not been very good. He hasn't been nearly what he was a year ago. He's switching clubs, all this crap. And Spieth. I mean, if Spieth could put on that green jacket after all that dude's been through, I mean, he has had the ultimate fall from, where he was the dude and everybody loved him. And he just has so much charisma. I'd love for him to be back on top, and not like back on top like Valero Open back on top, right? Like, if he wins there and he could collect another green jacket and signify that, like, all right, this dude is back. Like, I think Rory would be a great story. Spieth would be a great story. And in the absence of those, I would say, somebody breaking through like a Finau or a Xander. And then I mentioned Koepka, those guys, I think those would elicit the best stories that come out of it and would certainly get me the most excited.
Chris, I got to tell you a quick story.
Yep.
We've been doing this 6 years, and we're on Twitter a lot. We both get a little opinionated, a little mouthy from time to time. And we had a first happen this past week. In fact, the listeners don't even know this. This is new. But you were part of it, and you didn't even know it. For the first time in 6 years on Twitter, our account got suspended for 12 hours.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It got suspended for 12 hours because I saw you reply to a tweet. There was some reply.
Okay.
I replied to the tweet because obviously Charlie Hoffman was coming into the Valero playing really well. And you replied to some tweet about the Valero and about Charlie Hoffman. And I replied to you as the Charlie Hoffman guy, right? And said, Chris, there is no way you don't bet Charlie Hoffman to win the Valero this week because he's your guy, right? And if he wins Valero, he gets to Augusta and he's the subject of, your song or one, And I said, there's no way you don't bet Charlie Hoffman. If you don't, you should dick punch yourself. I'm not doing it as a joke, right?
All right.
6 days later, I go to get on Twitter and it says my account's been suspended for encouraging self-harm to another Twitter user.
You're kidding.
And it shows you the tweet.
No.
The tweet in question. And it was the tweet that I sent to you.
No.
Yes, and it made me it made me delete. There was a big delete button, and you literally had to hit the delete button to start the 12-hour clock. So I had to delete the tweet.
That is not real.
And then we were in timeout for 12 hours. I kid
that
you.
That seriously happened.
I swear.
Because you told me to dick punch myself.
So my question is, man, are you okay? Like I need to make sure.
Oh my goodness! Look, I'm sorry.
Are you feeling okay?
Hey, look, I'm sorry for reporting you. No, I mean somebody has to report you, right?
I don't know if that's true. I think Twitter. I think they're
just monitoring that
they scan things to see. Yeah. In fact, I almost tweeted something.
That's super bizarre.
It's so bizarre. I almost tweeted something today, not related to you. And then as I was typing it, I was like, damn, if I get suspended during Masters Week, like our biggest week of the year, that can't happen. So I deleted the whole thing. But anyway.
So it said that you were encouraging self-harm.
To you. I was encouraging someone on Twitter to harm themselves.
I wonder what the...
it was you.
It's not like you told me to jump off a bridge or something, right?
No, man, but dick punches can be a real thing. Those things, I'm sure they hurt. I got, you don't even know this, but earlier on this show, like 40 minutes ago, my wife slapped me in the face live on the show because I lost a bet. So
yeah, but like, when is the last time you've been punched in the dick?
I've never been punched in the dick. Yeah.
Oh, I think I was a child.
Okay, good.
I think I was probably a child. Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously, I've been thumped. Right?
This is totally going in the show notes. Okay, DraftKings and the last time Chris.
Don't put it on Twitter. Don't put it on Twitter.
Hey,
man, they are soft, huh? They are soft in Twitter.
Hey, before we let you go, Chris, because
I know. By the way, I just want to tell you, I get guys tell me to like suck their cock and all this all the time,
Still up there.
All the time. People say the worst things ever to me because look. I host an NBA podcast, right? So if I say you got a rat team, or I say like it could be, for instance, I did this bit about how Rudy Gobert. Everybody's like, "Oh, defensive player of the year, like he should be help defensive player of the year because all he does is help defend. Every other center kicks his ass." Blah, blah. I mean, and it's just. I mean, you would think I said something about people's mothers. People are terrible fans. They're terrible. That is honestly, I would say, I mean, like it would not broach the top 1,000 things that have been sent to me in the last 3 months.
Well, I mean, I guess that's not. They're not telling you to harm yourself. They're telling you to
help service others.
Maybe it's semantics.
I'm telling you to be of service to others.
Hey,
by the way, apologize to your listeners. I didn't mean to make this, parental guidance.
Oh, dude, no, trust us. We're good. I mean, I brought up the dick punching thing. It is. I opened the can. Listen, everybody needs to follow at Chris Vernon Show on Twitter, and you need to be on the lookout for these Masters videos. If you're not already following him, I don't know what you're doing. And check out his podcast on The Ringer, the Chris Vernon Show. He's the Memphis Grizzlies guy. And Chris, we just really appreciate you taking time to come on. But before you go, can I have you and Pat somehow do a quick "Where the hell is Charlie Hoffman at" thing? Like, can you guys like vibe off each other real quick? Can we do a where the hell is Charlie Hoffman?
Yeah. Where is the let me think. So okay, so we got it as a if I'm doing it like it's a leaderboard, I need like the you need to do like the Waka Flocka then. You right. Yeah, there you go. Where the hell is Charlie Hoffman? Where the hell is Charlie Hoffman? We be missing Charlie Hoffman. Where the hell is Charlie Hoffman? You know what? I will say this. To my benefit, him not making it enables us to have the line again. You know what I mean?
You like got to.
Of all the things that I really need to, because I can't be doing, I got to come up with all new stuff. I mean, not all new stuff, because some stuff is just standard. But of the things that I don't have to come up with, him not being there, like I'm gonna look at the leaderboard and he's not gonna be there. You know what I mean? He's not there.
If you can find a way to work in Tour Junkies in your rhyme, I would
Tour Junkies.
Yeah, I would be a big fan. But
you guys actually live in Augusta.
Yeah. We're born.
Yeah.
How many people live there?
Like
in Augusta proper?
400,000, 450,000, something like that. Yeah.
I've never met anybody from Augusta. I really haven't.
We're good people. We're good people. I still think that the Tony Finau part is underrated. Tony Finau, where he be now? Tony Finau, where he be now?
I'm telling you, you know what? It's not underrated though, because I get that and I get Hoffman the most. The one that I've been most excited / happy about, obviously the Koepka thing, and like Jenna Sims was Instagramming about it and all that stuff. That was crazy. The last one though was the Paul Casey always smiling. Trevor friggin' Immelman tweeted me that. Trevor, he's a Masters champion himself.
Yeah.
Paul Casey always smiling. Unbelievable.
That's true. He is always smiling.
Good stuff. What was he so happy about?
Hey, have you seen his girl? That's what he's happy about.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, look, I bet I don't Google it right now.
All right, Chris, we gotta get to our picks and button this up, man. We appreciate it. Work into the Junkies, dude. Let us know.
I appreciate your support.
And don't dick punch yourself. You know what I mean? I didn't mean it. I love you.
I'm gonna do my best.
All right, dude.
All right, see you guys.
At Chris Vernon Show on Twitter. We appreciate him coming out. He's hilarious. God, I love that guy. And I know it's a dream come true for Pat. It's like it's like fulfilling a make-a-wish right here. How's that feel? You surprised me with the Geno thing. Chris Vernon. I worked hard for that.
Hey, yeah, I appreciate that. There was not a whole lot to be excited about a November Masters, but that was one of the things that just stood out for me from that Masters. It was great stuff.
All right, let's get back to the picks. This is great stuff. We talked about we're talking about the top tier. So, you're always a sucker for Rory, Pat. You just are.
Mm-hmm. And he's sitting here right in front of me, written down.
Okay.
My next play. But we didn't get to talk about Bryson too much because right before I mentioned Bryson right before Chris came on, and I do like Bryson. I do think he figured out a lot of things at this last Masters. We're not hearing as much as we did, last year or in the fall leading up to the Masters. So I don't know what your thoughts are. You said you could be swayed to play him. I think you got to play him. I think you got to play Bryson in this Masters, okay? And you know what? Putts well on bent grass greens.
What do you think changed from November? I mean, I know some things changed, but I'm saying, like, for you, when you look at it, what's different for you?
Well, for one, obviously the course is a little bit different. I think that his, when you think about anything with a player, especially like him, a guy who's very cerebral, we all know that, who likes to try things out and try things, that are new and kind of reinvent himself. He was trying a lot of things out in the fall with his game, with not just his game, but how to play that course his way. And so he kind of tinkered and all that kind of stuff. Now you can talk about the stomach aches and whatever else he had, but I don't care. I still think he was figuring some things out with how he wanted to play that course his way, and I think he learned a lot from playing it his way in the fall. And I think it's gonna be to to the good for him, for his betterment, and he's in good form as well. So I think Bryson is he's got a great chance to win this tournament. And he's obviously in great form. We've seen him win at the Arnold Palmer, and then we saw him almost win at the Players. So at 10-8, he's really my favorite play there in that 10K range.
Nice. Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm leaning Rahm and JT. I could definitely be talked into Bryson. We'll just see how the ownership stuff shakes out. I love Patrick Cantlay as we get into the $9,000 range. I love Cantlay here. I love the ball striking, but I will say he's one of those names that if he's top 3, top 5 owned, going back to the game theory stuff we talked about that Ben wrote about on tourjunkies.com, he's one I could go ahead and fade and be okay. I don't want to do that with, like, it's gonna be harder for me to do that with JT and Rahm, but with Cantlay, I think I can do that. I think Patrick Reed is the play here, especially given if you trust that this place is going to be firmer and faster, and you trust that Augusta National wants to get that scoring way, way far away from where it was in November, where even maybe a 4 or 5 under is winning this golf tournament. I think that sets up even better for Patrick Reed. He's always under-owned. So I think that's an interesting take. And then Webb Simpson is very interesting to me at 9K. I talked about him on the Mayo show as well. And Pat likes him too. So he may be chalky. When Mayo talks him up, it's gonna go up. But we'll see how it goes. I love Webb here. I know he's not playing his best, but I think his record at Augusta, his confidence at Augusta, I think he's an interesting play, and obviously you get a nice little price break there. My fade in this range is going to be Jordan Spieth. All right, I'm going to do it. It's super controversial, I know. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fade him, and here's obviously ownership is the number one reason why you fade him. Other than 2020 with Dustin Johnson, if you faded the highest owned guy or the top 2 highest owned guys, which Jordan Spieth is going to be, other than 2020, over the last 4 years, you were fine. Now, if Jordan top 10s and he's the highest owned guy at 30% and you avoid him, that doesn't necessarily mean you're dead. It depends on how well he scores. It doesn't necessarily mean that you cost yourself a big payday. But as the highest owned guy, you're going to need Jordan to really do his thing. And here's what I researched. The only hole in his game that I can still find right now is strokes gained off the tee for Jordan Spieth. Strokes gained off the tee is important at Augusta National. It just is. You have to gain, and I mean, all around game is important at Augusta National. Everything has to be clicking. You can't get away with, at Valero, you can get away with like one thing not being quite right. In one of the strongest fields, in the most coveted win of any tournament these guys play for their career, you have to be pumping on all cylinders. Even this week, when he wins the Valero, he is 104th in this field this week, in the field at Valero, in strokes gained off the tee. He hit 29 of 56 fairways this week on his way to victory. That's good for T49 in terms of driving accuracy. So I went back and looked at his last Masters, and I saw, okay, how was he performing in off the tee leading up to those Masters? In 2019, he, in 3 of 7 previous weeks leading up to the Masters, he gained strokes off the tee in only 3 of 7. He finished 21st. In 2018, he had gained strokes off the tee in 15 straight events leading up to the Masters. 15 straight events leading up to the Masters, gained strokes off the tee, finished 3rd. In 2017, he only gained 2 out of 6 weeks off the tee leading up, finished 11th. In 2016, he gained 9 in a row off the tee leading up to Augusta, finished 2nd. And in 2015, when he won for the first time, he had 6 straight weeks leading up where he gained strokes off the tee leading up to his victory. So if you look at it, on the years that he's done really, really well, leading up to it, his strokes gained off the tee numbers looked a lot different than what they look right now. I know he can spray it everywhere out here and finish top 10. I know he can, but I don't know that he can do that and win. So he's got to figure that out. Everything else is there. I get it. That plus the ownership is the reason I'm out.
What is this? The damn what's that show? It's the reason I'm out.
Oh yeah, Shark Tank.
What is this? Shark Tank?
Well,
Look,
I know I
screw
have
that.
to justify that because you have to. I mean, I know I got to justify it. It's a controversial take right now.
Look, I think Jordan Spieth is obviously going to be high owned, and I think but whatever. I'm fine with eating the chalk on Jordan Spieth. I mean, the guy has played this course fantastic, regardless of what kind of what kind of form he's been in with the driver and whatever else. He's shown recently that everything else of his game, he is in complete control of. It's amazing in the fact that he isn't that great with the driver just because he's so good with every part of his game other than that. So I am not going to fade Jordan. I think that's a terrible fade. I don't care what his ownership is. I'll still play him.
All right.
All right.
Who's your fade in this range?
Well, let me go back to a few things here because you mentioned Rory. Okay. I like Rory a ton this week. I think if you want to gain some leverage on the field this week in your tournament lineups, why not play Rory? Okay. Everybody wants to talk about, the guy's in great recent form and blah, 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 and whatever else. And, Rory's we don't know what, his game is at. And he was chasing distance with Bryson DeChambeau and all this kind of stuff. But look, Rory's still Rory. Okay. He's one of the greatest players in the game. All right. And I liked where he came at the end of he came out after the last Masters and gave an interview that was very, he gives great interviews anyway. So it's not like this is nothing new, but he talked about how he learned a little bit from the past Masters. I'm not talking about the course and how it played and things like that, because I've already mentioned that I think it's going to play different. But his attitude changed a little bit, I think, in this last Masters after he started off so bad, relaxed a little bit, and then played incredibly well the rest of the way. Could have been in contention if he hadn't had such a bad first round. And so I think Rory this year is going to play well in this Masters. I don't really care about form all that much. Look, you look at all these guys in this 9K plus range, okay? Webb missed the cut at the Players. Tony Finau missed the cut at the Players. Cantlay missed the cut at the Players. Xander missed the cut at the Players. Rory missed the cut at the Players. All of them did. So, I mean, you can't really, I don't think, just look at that as being the one thing that's going to be something that you're going to, put a whole lot into with what you're the guys you're playing over 9K. So, I love Rory this week at 10-2. Sorry?
I didn't say I was doing that. Who said that?
I think a lot of people will look at that and say their form, they miss the cut and things like that. I'm not talking about just you. And then I'm also talking about Sam, the producer, bringing up, I don't know what he did in the chat there, but please stop doing that because we're talking about the Masters and it's going to go over as far as the time. Okay. So, this isn't the Oscars or something like that. So if I'm talking about somebody, don't tell me to shut up. All right.
We have the other show, though. We have the other show timed. So
okay. Anyway, I do like Rory, and I'll make this quick. I like Webb at 9,000. I wish Pat Mayo, who you were on his show, and if you hadn't been on his show, maybe we could have talked more about Webb, and maybe just go to the Pat Mayo show since DB's on there, and then we can you can hear what he says about Pat Mayo and Webb and all that kind of stuff. But I do like Webb this week. I think he's going to have a good week. I think the ownership is going to be pretty low in this range for him. Obviously, he has pretty damn good course history and can absolutely win on this course.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You are my favorite American, Pat, though. I will say that.
And, I didn't mention my fade. My fade's going to be at the top, Dustin Johnson. I'm just going to fade him. I'm not playing him. You got to plant your flags, like I said. Yeah. Rory's one flag I'm going to have. Bryson may be one flag. Webb possibly. Definitely a flag on fading DJ.
Okay. Let's look at this 8K range. The 8K range is, it's an interesting spot. You got Tyrrell Hatton all the way down to Tommy Fleetwood. A lot of the Brits in here. Got to know what to do with those boys. Hideki, who seems to be surging lately. Scotty Scheffler, who went deep in the WGC, lost in the finals against Billy Ho. Cam Smith, who had a great November Masters and had another top 5 earlier in his Masters career. Obviously loves Augusta. So what are we going to do here? I'll make this pretty short and sweet. I like 2 guys here. I like Daniel Berger. Hadn't been here in a couple years. I think he really hated he had to miss out in November when he was. But he's kept up the hot form. I love the total package that Daniel Berger brings to Augusta. The ball striking, the short game. I love it all. I feel like he's clicking on all cylinders, and I think he also, can win this event. I think he gives you some win equity for sure, and I like the price savings there. I love Matt Fitzpatrick. I love Matt Fitzpatrick this year at the Masters.
God, where is this coming from? This is so different than what
I know.
Who took over your body and decided? Maybe it's the shirt you're wearing. I don't know.
I don't know. I've liked him, man. I think so. I've read some of his press conferences. I've been watching him a lot. He's been playing really well. If you're paying attention, he's playing well. He's talked about how he's added some distance. He's added a little bit of length. He's not chased it too bad to the point where it's hurt him like Rory has. But he's added a little pop in the bat, which I like. He loves this. He loves Augusta National. I think he's made 5 of 5 cuts here. And again, thinking to how this course may set up. A lot of things are still to be determined here. We're recording this on Sunday night. There's going to be practice rounds, constant interviews, the press brief, all that stuff is all going to come out. We have caddies here that are going to be walking the golf course. All that information is still yet to be uncovered, and that may change some things. But the way I think it's set up to play as of now, recording this on Sunday night, I think this is going to suit up to be a fantastic Masters for Fitzpatrick. I really, really like it. And then I'm going to fade his counterpart, his comrade, Lee Westwood, primarily because of the price. I can't get down with an $8,800 surging in price Lee Westwood, despite the impeccable course history here at Augusta. Never won, but a ton of top 5s, top 10s here at Augusta. It's really tough for me to pay for an old guy that I don't think has a ton of win equity here, despite how good he's playing. I can't do it. I do need to remind everybody of one last thing, and that is how you can get 2 free months in the Nut Hut, because that's important, because the Nut Hut this week is going to be super important. We're going to be in there Wednesday night, me and Pat, probably Ben. It's going to be a blast. We're going to answer all your questions. It's going to be popping, and you can get 2 free months of the Nut Hut by going and joining Monkey Knife Fight, one of our favorite new kind of like prop daily fantasy sites. It's so much fun to play. Monkey Knife Fight. You go to playmkf.com/nuthut. You'll see the landing page there. You sign up, okay, using that link. You sign up, you deposit some money, okay, and then you play a $10. You got to play $10 worth of real money games on Monkey Knife Fight, okay? Go ahead and do that ASAP, because then it'll take Monkey Knife Fight like a day or two to let us know that happened, and then we'll send you a link, and that link you can enroll in the Nut Hut for free for 2 months. So pretty quick and dirty. Plus, you get a $50 deposit match, up to $50 deposit match if you start out with $50 on Monkey Knife Fight. So you get free money from them and free 2 months for us in just joining and getting in the Nut Hut and making it happen. And if you do that now, you get to catch the PGA Championship as well, and close to right up until the U.S. Open. So playmkf.com/nuthut is where you need to go to sign up for that. You got to go to that link, sign up for Monkey Knife Fight, play in a $10 real money game. So play baseball or something. Even if you hate baseball, just play $10, because then it's going to take Monkey Knife Fight a day or so to let us know that you did that, and then we send you the link to sign up for the Nut Hut. So there you go. That's my 8K range, Pat. Hit me with yours, and then we'll keep it moving.
All right, real quick here. I like Victor Hovland at 8,700. I think he's a good play. Now, look, he did not play here in the fall, but in his first ever time playing here as an amateur, he finished T32 the year Tiger won in 2019. So, look, that's pretty good for an amateur in your first time ever playing the event. He is also top 10 in the field in ball striking and off the tee, 18th in the field in strokes gained approach. Bent has been his best surface to putt on. Now, I know it's been a limited sample size when you think about the fact that he hasn't been on tour for that long, but still, I like Victor Hovland, and we've seen him play great in the fall. He's been playing pretty well this year so far. So at 8,700, I think he's going to be a good play this week. And then Hideki at 8,300.
I like both of those. Yeah.
Okay, Hideki. I mean, look. He had a pretty good week this week at the Valero Texas Open. You just cannot deny his course history here. He's been fantastic on this course. It's been kind of sneaky good course history here, and he's been in better form lately. You look at the stats for Hideki. I mean, he's 16th in the field in strokes gained approach, 26th in ball striking, top 15 in par 5 scoring, and top 35 in strokes gained around the green. Look, if we just get a good putter this week from Hideki, which is what is always a question for Hideki, I think you can get, the guy can be in contention here. So I like him at 8,300. And then my fade's going to be, and I faded this guy last year in good form, and I'm going to fade him again in pretty good form, and that is Tyrrell Hatton at 8,900. This just isn't a course for him. The guy's
he's got a mental block here. I think it could be, but I think he's such a mental guy. Remember last year when he came to Champions that the day he missed the cut, and I videoed him like throwing his golf club.
Yeah. I just don't think this is a course that suits him. I mean, it suits his game if you look at the stats. I mean, he should play well here, but there's something about it that just doesn't either fit his eye or whatever else. Like, I don't know if he just doesn't like it when he gets on these greens and he 3 and 4 putts and whatever. Like something. I mean, I wouldn't like that either.
He's gonna win.
But there's just something about Tyrrell Hatton here at Augusta that does not fit, and I don't like him at 8,900. You give him to me cheaper in that 7K range or low 8K range, maybe, but not at 8,900. I will fade Tyrrell Hatton there.
He's gonna win. All right, let's look at the.
Why do you say that? Why do you say he's going to win?
I'm saying it like it's a curse. Like if we sit here and talk, but we both say it's something about it that he's just going to turn around and win. All right, let's look at the 7K range. This is obviously a range with a ton of interesting names here. Sergio up at the top at 79, all the way down to Victor Perez, Shane Lowry, Molinari. Those guys, tons of veterans here, tons of question marks here between. Is Jason Day healthy? Is Louis going to be okay? Is Justin Rose okay? Is Matt Wolff okay? Tons of question marks here. All, a few guys that have dealt with some injuries. There's a ton of different ways you can go here. I mentioned I was on the course on Saturday. As we were leaving, there was one player. Well, there were actually two players we saw. One of them was Bubba taking a complete L, standing on the 18th green when the girl that won the tournament walked off. And he was there to give her a 5 or a fist bump, and she completely didn't see him and walked right by him. That was the biggest L. But there was another player that I saw, and he was on the putting green all by himself, and me and my son sat there and watched him for 30 minutes. And I was just glad to see him there early, and that was Jason Day. I was just glad to see him there early. I didn't care what he was doing. I didn't care. I don't know. I was just glad to see him there on a Saturday, laughing it up, chuckling it up with his caddy, getting some putts in, feeling good enough to be out there doing his thing on a Saturday. I really like Jason Day here this week. Obviously, he's always played Augusta very well. He's had a good year. I like where his game is at as a whole for Augusta, of course. Him along with Louis, I just started going to this cryotherapy place, and I get in the little cryo chamber. Pat was on the phone with me a couple days ago when I did that, and I
was wondering. I thought that was a scary experience.
It wasn't. It was helping to heal my body. I might go in there and see if either one of those boys are in there.
Heal your body.
Give me my healing. All right, but other than Day, I'll pop down to. I like Molinari a little bit. I'm starting to turn.
I thought you were going to go Usti. You started talking about Usti, and then you just.
I was just saying because he's injured. I'm just saying I'll check him and Day out for the cryotherapy stuff. I think I'm starting to come around on Molinari a little bit. Another short knocker historically that's like Fitzpatrick, added some pop in the bat. And obviously he's played Augusta very well before the epic collapse when Tiger won in 2019. Flashed a little bit of form here earlier in the West Coast swing. I think Molinari is a very good value down there in the low 7s. And then I'm going to give you, this is a Millie Maker entry player right here, and that's Victor Perez, the big guy, the big Frenchman. Isn't he French? I don't know. The big,
yeah, he is French.
Went deep in the WGC, finished in the Final Four for the WGC. Made it there, and just hits it a long way. He's got JP Fitzgerald on the bag, or Fitzpatrick, sorry. JP Fitzpatrick on the bag, formerly of Mr. Rory McIlroy, which, Victor's first time around Augusta National, but I love the fact that he's got JP Fitz on the bag, helping him navigate Augusta National, which obviously he did for Rory for so many years. I think that's really going to help him. This guy hits it a long way. Very talented player, and obviously pretty cheap. So I think that's a deep, GPP entry. Mr. Victor Perez. The fade for me is going to be Sergio Garcia. Can't pay for it. Can't pay for a guy putting with his eyes closed. His putting has gotten worse in the last 3 years since he's won the Masters. Since he's won the Masters, he's had, I mean, God, it's T21 has been his best finish in any major since he won the Masters, and it was 2 months after. From there, it has been a series of missed cuts, 56, 60 seconds in majors. It's been very, very bad for Sergio Garcia. So I'm not interested in continuing to just pray that Sergio's eye closed method is going to work. I'm not buying it, and I'm not paying for it, despite the very attractive ball striking, or very attractive, as one may say, there for Sergio Garcia.
Attractive. That's attractive ball striking.
My bad. Victor Perez did play in the 2020 Masters. That's right. Finished 46th. So, yeah, second time around, and now he's got JP Fitz on the bag. I like it.
Okay, well, I like Sergio Garcia this week at 7,900. I think he's been – you look at his play recently, it's been very good, not only in the match play, but also recently in the Players' Championship. I know the putter's always an issue with him, okay? So –
it's gotten worse, though, since he won the Masters. If you look previous to the Masters, it's actually gotten worse.
I get it, but his play has been better, and everything else has been better as of late. You look at last fall when he got a win at the Sanderson Farms. The only reason he did not play in the Masters, where I think he would have been, not a favorite to win, obviously, but he would have been somebody that we would have been looking at had it not been for COVID, and he tested positive for COVID, and that's why he did not play in the Masters in November. But I still like Sergio at 7,900. Look, the ball striking is perfect for this course. He's been good off the tee, top 15 in the field off the tee, also in scrambling as well. I like Sergio at 7,900. I will play him, and I will not fade him. I think that's a terrible fade. And then I like, as a GPP play, I like Jason Day. You mentioned him at 7,500. I think he's a great play this week. I think he's going to be coming in under the radar. There's always, of course, the injury talk, and we can always – I feel like that's getting overplayed now. Every time Jason Day's in the field, we talk about the sniffles and whatever else and blah, 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 and injuries. And, okay, I'm done with that. I'm tired of that. Jason Day is still a great player. He has good history here. He has a perfect game for this course. So I think Jason Day is definitely in play at 7,500. And I like Louis. I like Louis at 7,500 as well. I know he's coming off of injuries and whatever else, and he's always a withdrawal risk, but I'm okay with that. If you want to not play Louis because you're scared of a withdrawal, whatever. I don't care. I'll still play him. I like him this week. He has great course history here, kind of sneaky. I love him here at this course. So, yeah. Gonna go Louis, Jason Day, Sergio. My fade is going to be Billy Horschel at 7,200.
I like that fade.
I don't care about the match play. Okay, I don't care about that win. He didn't even do anything. Like, if you watch the championship match, it wasn't like they were just dropping birdies on top of each other. I mean, they were just managing the golf course.
Chip in, yeah.
Yeah, just managing the golf course, doing whatever. Billy Horschel has never played all that great here. I'm just, his approach game is still not that good. I'm not in on Billy Horschel at 7,200.
Here's a hot take. You talk about some injured guys. I would actually rather, in a big tournament, I'd rather play Rose over Horschel, which is scary.
I kind of would too. I actually don't mind Rose.
I thought you were going to say Rose. You love Rose. All right, let's hit the 6K range. There's so many good names down here. I actually think that 70. We talked about this. The $7,400 to $7,000 range is going to be a pretty dead zone. I do think that. That's one reason why I wanted to give you a couple names in there. I think you can get some leverage. I think a lot of people are going to end up having so many of these guys in the 6K because there's a lot of solid plays down here, starting with Corey Connors, Kokrak, Leishman, those guys. Kuchar's been turning it on. Woodland just had a really great Valero. That's an interesting one. Make you kind of raise an eyebrow there. Sebastian Munoz, who played great in November. There's a lot of names in here that are very interesting in the 6K. Connors is definitely going to be the chalkiest play here and one of the chalkiest plays in the tournament. But his putting is coming around. It's very interesting to me on Corey Connors. If he's like 15%, I'll play him. If he's 20, 25, I'll probably not at that price. but I'll eat some level of chalk on Corey Connors here. He's improved both times he's played here, or every time he's played here. I think he's played here 2 or 3 times, but I love Connors here. I like Leishman here. We saw him come to Augusta in November in awful form, way worse than he is now, and still managed to play very well. He loves this golf course. I like Leish. A couple of sneaky names, I guess. I kind of believe in Dylan Fratelli here. South Africans tend to play well. He's one of the longest hitters on the PGA Tour. He's added a ton of
his length is sneaky. I mean, he's sneaky long.
Well, he wasn't though. He added it in the last, like right on the tails of Bryson.
As far as like how long he is sneaky.
Like top 5 longest guy on tour. And yeah, he loves the Masters. So Fratelli's interesting to me. I love Siwoo. Shocker, but Siwoo has played decent.
Siwoo shaking that ass.
Siwoo shaking that ass, shaking that ass, shaking that ass.
Yep, I love it. I know everybody's like, oh yeah, big shocker. DB took Siwoo, but Siwoo's gonna care. Siwoo's playing well. Just did okay at the Valero. Has played Augusta pretty well. He's just gonna pop one of these years. I'm telling you. So I'll go Siwoo. And there's some other names down there below, but I might save those for the Nut Hut and maybe an article or 2. So there you go.
Well, I agree with you on Connors. I like him, and I think he's going to be chalky as hell. But look, if you think about, if you set a model with all the stats that you love this week, which should include approach, should include strokes gained off the tee, par 5 scoring, scrambling, ball striking, those type stats, Corey Connors is going to end up number 1 on your. He will.
He's number 2 in mine right now.
He'll be at least 1 or 2. If he's not in the top 5, you did something wrong. Okay?
Which is hard to turn down when you get the relief at 6,900 that you get, which is why I'm willing to take a little.
Yeah.
The
only place that he will not show up is putting on bent or in general.
Anywhere.
But whatever. I'm okay with that. I still think he's going to be chalky, but I do like him, and he's going to be hard to avoid. But right beneath him, if you want to pivot off of him, I like Jason Kokrak at 6,900. Now, it's hard to believe that a guy that's been on tour as long as he has is just coming off of his first ever Masters appearance in the fall in November, which was a different type of Masters and all that kind of stuff.
Probably
I think
better for him, but
he did miss the cut. I'm okay with that. I don't care. I think he learned a lot probably in that last Masters. I like him a lot this week. I mean, you look at ball striking off the tee. I mean, everything for Jason Kokrak, even putting on bent, he's pretty good at. So I think Jason Kokrak makes a lot of sense in GPPs this week at 6,900. So if you're looking for a guy that you might pivot off of Connors from or Leishman from, and you need a guy, I think Jason Kokrak at 6,900 is a good fit there. And also Danny Willett at 6,600. I like him this week as well. Look, we saw him finish top 10 a couple weeks ago at Corrales. He's obviously won here before. He's been in better form the last few years. I think he makes, you're throw a flyer on him, 6,600, put him in a GPP lineup with the good form and everything else, the history here. I like him. So there you go.
Love it. Love it. Don't forget, comment your biggest name to miss the cut. The first 3 right, we're going to send a 2020 flag to. And then if you subscribe to the channel, we're going to pick a random person to send a t-shirt and a flag to and support the show. Give us a 5-star review, retweet if you see us on the Twitter street, sharing this. If you see us on Facebook, sharing it, share it with us. If you see us on Instagram, holler, help spread the word. Masters is the biggest week of the year for us. It's the biggest show of the year for us, and it's a great opportunity to get new listeners and keep them here. So if you enjoy it, if you appreciate what we do, that's how you can help us, is by spreading the word and telling folks about it. And we'd really appreciate it. Loved having Chris Vernon on. We'll have to have him on again. Can't wait to see if he actually is able to work in Tour Junkies in a song. That would be awesome this week. So you want to pay attention to his Twitter account. For now, me and Pat have to go do the betting show. And and if you're already listening to this on Monday or later, then you can go listen to the betting show now. So there you go. Thanks for watching. May your screens be green. It's Masters Week, baby. Tons of free content on tourjunkies.com, the Chalk Bomb, the Nut Hut, all the above. Let's get it.